If you're hearing this, it means I didn't survive episode 2. I shouldn't even be telling you this. God, I wish I never pressed play in the first place. I thought it was just another glitch, some weird experiment buried in Netflix's endless library. But now it's 3:33 in the morning, and the glow of my TV is the only light in the room. The screen keeps flickering, like it's breathing, like it's waiting for me to keep watching. The show shouldn't exist. I checked. I searched forums, I dug through subreddits, I even messaged friends who always seem to know about obscure pilots and underground ARGs. Nothing. Not a whisper. And yet, there it was, a thumbnail made of static, pulsing faintly red, like a heartbeat behind broken glass. When I first clicked it, I thought I was imagining things, the distortion, the voices in the static. But tonight, the voices are louder. They're calling my name. Not once, not twice, but over and over in a dozen different tones. Male, female, young, old, all blending together into a chorus of whispers that crawl beneath my skin. I muted the TV, but the voices didn't stop. They seeped through the silence, vibrating inside my head, covered my ears. I shut my eyes, but the voices know me. They're not just saying my name. They're telling me things I never told anyone, things I've never said out loud. And the worst part? The subtitles appear on their own. Sentences forming in white text at the bottom of the screen, predicting my every breath, my every word. Even now, I don't know how long I've been sitting here, recording this. I feel like time doesn't work properly anymore. Every second stretches, bends, folds in on itself. My phone says it's been 5 minutes. My clock says it's been an hour. The static clears sometimes, just enough for me to catch a glimpse of what's behind it. A room, my room, the same walls, the same couch, the same faint glow of the streetlight through the curtains. And then, something else. A figure sitting where I'm sitting now, still waiting. The voices just stopped. The screen is black. Wait, no. There. Letters forming, glowing red against the dark. It's my name. My name. Oh God, let me back up. If I just drop you into the middle, you'll think I've lost my mind. Maybe I have, but I wasn't always like this. Before all of this, I was just another insomniac staring at a glowing screen, trying to drown out the quiet. Netflix was my drug of choice, comfort food for the brain. It didn't matter if it was a mediocre sitcom rerun or a documentary about serial killers that all felt the same. Predictable, overproduced, padded with ominous music and slow-motion shots of crime scene tape. And somehow, Netflix always knew when to dangle them in front of me, like it had a sixth sense for loneliness. I'd open the app at 2 in the morning, and there it was, recommended for you. Almost always spot on. Too spot on. I used to joke with my friends that Netflix had a little guy living inside my TV, jotting down notes about me. Do they have a machine that knows exactly when I'm lonely? When I'm bored? When I've given up on sleep? I'd laugh it off, but the truth is, it always creeped me out a little. That night started the same as any other. I'd finished work late, made a half-hearted attempt at cooking, and collapsed onto the couch with the intention of numbing myself until sunrise. I scrolled past the endless carousel of titles. Bright thumbnails, buzzword-laden taglines, and that same pushy suggestion. Because you watched, but then, between two perfectly ordinary options, I saw something that didn't fit. It was nothing. No cover art. Just a square of static, the kind you'd see on old televisions. Black and white snow, rippling faintly, as if someone had animated chaos and dropped it into the lineup. I blinked, scrolled past it, scrolled back. Still there. Curiosity got the better of me, so I clicked on it. Nothing happened. No title screen, no description, no play button. Just a blank page with the static square in the center. I checked my Wi-Fi. Fine. I tried refreshing. The square stayed. I backed out, searched for it manually. Nothing. Not under recently added. Not under trending. Not even under continue watching. It was like it didn't want to be found. I laughed, trying to brush it off. Probably a bug. Some programmer's mistake. A placeholder image accidentally slipped into the system. Still, something about it made my skin crawl. It wasn't just that it was blank. It was that it felt intentional. I shut off the TV. Or I tried to. The static thumbnail glitched, flashing for a split second, and then disappeared, leaving the normal menu behind. Weird. I told myself to forget about it. I brushed my teeth, got ready for bed, scrolled through my phone until my eyes burned. But at 11:59, something tugged at me. I couldn't explain it. I turned the TV back on. The thumbnail was there again. Only now it was different. The static pulsed, faintly, like a heartbeat. I hovered over it, and for the first time, text appeared beneath. Available at 12 a.m. No title, no genre, no description, just those words. I stared, my remote frozen in my hand. Who even schedules Netflix content like that? This wasn't HBO. There were no release windows. Shows just appeared when they appeared. But something about that countdown, it hooked me. Midnight was seconds away, and my thumb trembled over the button. By the time the clock struck 12, I knew I wasn't going to resist. When midnight hit, the thumbnail shifted. The static cleared, revealing something crude. A red, hand-drawn title card that just said, Episode 1. No series name, no credits, just those words scrawled across the screen, shaky like it had been written by hand. I laughed out loud. Honestly, I thought it was some kind of guerrilla marketing stunt, an experimental short film meant to look mysterious. I'd seen Netflix try that kind of thing before, those weird interactive experiences they were so proud of. Black Mirror wannabe projects. Fit the vibe. So I pressed play. The screen cut to handheld footage. Dark, grainy, shaky, like some college kid's film project. A man walked down a dim street, mumbling to himself. The audio was bad, the lighting worse. I was half tempted to turn it off right away, but there was something oddly compelling about it. The man stopped in front of a rundown convenience store. He looked at the camera, not into it but through it, like whoever was filming wasn't really there. He muttered something I couldn't catch, then entered the store. The dialogue was stilted, almost laughably bad. The cashier asked, "How are you tonight?" And the man replied, "Fine, I guess. Just tired." Riveting stuff. I smirked and grabbed my phone, ready to scroll while it played in the background. But then I froze. The cashier mentioned the name of my town. Not just the town. The street. My street. I actually laughed at first, a nervous little chuckle. Plenty of shows name-drop real places to ground themselves, right? But the coincidence nagged at me. I'd never seen this town in a show before. We weren't exactly a hot filming location. I put my phone down. The man on screen walked out of the store and lit a cigarette. He muttered again, this time louder. "The warehouse on Fulton Avenue. You know the one." My chest tightened. Fulton Avenue wasn't just real. It was 2 blocks from me. The warehouse was old, abandoned, something I passed every morning on my commute. I leaned closer to the screen. The camera panned as though someone was following him from across the street. No music, no cuts, no stylization. Just long, shaky footage of a man wandering through a part of town I recognized far too well. Then came the moment that turned my unease into something colder. The man stopped under a flickering street lamp, looked straight into the camera, and said, "Do you ever feel like you're being watched?" I laughed again, but it came out wrong, sharp, high-pitched. Meta humor, I thought, just breaking the fourth wall. Clever, if a bit on the nose. But then he kept going. Like someone sitting on their couch right now, staring at you, wondering how the hell this show knows where they live. My heart skipped. No way. No way. The man exhaled smoke, tilted his head, and almost smiled. Then he whispered my workplace. Not just the company, the floor number. I dropped the remote. This was impossible. Completely impossible. I grabbed my laptop and tried searching again. Nothing. No trace of the show, no Reddit threads, no obscure film student credits. Nothing. And yet it was still streaming, still playing, the man on screen now walking past landmarks I passed every single day. He stopped again. This time he sat on a bench, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. His voice dropped low, almost conspiratorial. "You told her you hated it here, remember? You said if you had the money, you'd leave this town and never look back. Funny how secrets always find a way out." I felt ice crawl down my spine. I had said those exact words. Once, months ago, to someone I trusted. We were alone. No one else could have heard. I turned the volume down, heart hammering. But the subtitles kept auto-generating, even though I'd switched them off. Line for line, they repeated his words. The footage cut abruptly. No credits, no Netflix jingle. Just static. I sat there, staring at the blank screen, trying to make sense of it. My rational brain screamed at me, ARG, prank, some elaborate AI-powered experiment. But deep down, something colder was whispering that this wasn't meant for the public. This was meant for me. And then, just before the app crashed, the static parted one final time. The camera jerked, revealing a wide shot. My neighborhood, my street, my house. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured that shaky footage of my house, frozen in static. I kept telling myself it was a coincidence, a trick, a stunt to get people talking. But even as I repeated the lies, I knew the truth. No one else was talking about it. The next day, I moved through the hours like a ghost. At work, I kept waiting for someone to mention it. A coworker casually dropping, "Hey, did you check out that weird new show on Netflix?" But no one did. They talked about football, deadlines, office gossip. Ordinary things. Too ordinary. By the time I got home, I was already exhausted. My couch looked like a trap. The TV sat there waiting, blank screen reflecting my pale face back at me. I told myself I wouldn't turn it on. Not tonight. But when midnight approached, I caved. It was like a compulsion. I powered up the TV, scrolled through the menu, and sure enough, the static thumbnail was back. Only now it didn't say Episode 1. It had changed. Episode 2. My stomach dropped. I hovered over it, remote shaking in my hand. I could have walked away. I should have. But a sick kind of curiosity held me there. The same impulse that makes you peek through your fingers during a horror movie. I pressed play. This episode began differently. Nosleep. No wandering man. Just a wide shot of a street at dusk. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then I realized where it was. The corner store by my apartment. The one I passed almost every evening. A woman walked out carrying groceries. I didn't recognize her, but the detail made my skin crawl. Same cracked sidewalk. Same broken neon sign. It was too real. The camera followed her for a while, then drifted, too smoothly this time, toward a different street. My street. I muttered a curse under my breath, but I couldn't look away. The footage wasn't from last night. It wasn't archived. I realized with a jolt, it was happening now. The lighting outside my own window matched the colors on the screen. The same bruised purple sky, the same half-lit lamppost flickering down the block. I tested it. I stood up, yanked the curtain open, and looked out. There it was. The exact same scene, playing both outside my window and on my television. I backed away, heart pounding. The camera zoomed in on a man walking his dog. I recognized him. He lived 2 houses down. He waved to someone off-screen. 2 seconds later, through the glass, I saw the real man wave in the exact same way.
Y whispered, "No."
No, this isn't real. But it was. The show wasn't predicting. It wasn't documenting. It was directing. Like reality itself had already been filmed, and I was just now catching up to the playback. I had to test it. I grabbed my keys, stormed out the door, and walked fast toward the corner. The camera on the screen panned the same direction, leading me like a guide. My breaths came shallow, my body buzzing with adrenaline. Halfway down the street, I stopped. Car rolled past on the show. A red sedan. 10 seconds later, the same car rolled past me in the real world. I laughed. It sounded hysterical. Back inside, I paced in front of the TV, mind spinning. If the show already knew what would happen, then nothing I did mattered. But what if I could break it? What if I could prove it wrong? I ran to the kitchen, grabbed a glass, and hurled it to the floor. It shattered, water spraying across the tiles. My chest heaved as I looked back at the screen. And there it was, the exact moment already captured. The glass falling, the shards scattering in the same impossible pattern. I sank onto the couch, shaking. The show kept going. Ordinary things. A neighbor locking their door. A teenager biking past. A stray cat darting across the street. All synced perfectly with the world outside. Then the camera tilted upward, toward my window. I froze. The lens zoomed closer, closer, until I swore I could see the reflection of my blinds. My hands trembled as I reached for the remote, but it was too late. The screen filled with static. The voices returned. Not background noise this time, clear, deliberate. They whispered in unison, low and jagged, like glass dragged across concrete. I couldn't make out most of it, just fragments, words dissolving into static. But then, between the chaos, I heard it. My name, clear as day. I thought avoiding the TV would keep me safe. I told myself if I didn't open Netflix, I could forget it. Pretend it was some hallucination, a fever dream cooked up by stress and insomnia. But reality had other plans. The first sign was subtle. I was waiting for the bus when I noticed a poster plastered on the shelter glass. At first glance, I thought it was just another Netflix promo. Bold red font, moody background. But the longer I stared, the less sense it made. It was the static. Not a logo, not a slogan, just a gray smear of noise. And under it, one line of text. Episode 3. My skin prickled. I looked around to see if anyone else noticed, but people were just scrolling their phones, sipping coffee, lost in their morning haze. Like the poster wasn't strange at all. The bus came, and I told myself it was nothing. An advertising glitch. Coincidence. But then my coworker brought it up. We were sitting in the break room eating lunch. He asked if I'd watched the new show last night. His voice was casual, almost bored. "What show?" I asked. He gave me this blank look, like I was the one acting weird. "That creepy one, with the static. You know." My throat dried up. "What was it called?" He frowned, chewing slowly. "It doesn't really have a name, right? Just shows up in the feed. We were talking about it yesterday." "No," I said quickly, too quickly. "No, we weren't." He just laughed. "You're messing with me." Then he went back to scrolling on his phone like nothing had happened. I sat frozen, replaying every word. We had never talked about it. Not once. That night, I stayed off the TV entirely. I buried myself in work, in meaningless YouTube rabbit holes, in anything that would keep me away from Netflix. I even unplugged the router just in case. But it didn't matter. The show followed me. The restaurant TV by the counter. Muted, always looping sports highlights. Suddenly glitched. Static flickered for half a second. Then the gray thumbnail appeared. No title.
No genre.
Just episode 3. The cashier didn't react. No one else even blinked. I stumbled out into the night, heart pounding. Everywhere I looked, screens betrayed me. A phone abandoned on a table, glowing faintly with the same static. A billboard on the highway, the red light from taillights cutting across its shifting fuzz. It was multiplying. And then came the worst part. My best friend texted me. Just a casual message. "Crazy episode last night." Huh? That ending messed me up. I stared at the words, unable to breathe. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. I finally typed back, "What are you talking about?" He sent a laughing emoji, then wrote, "Bro, you literally came over. We watched it together. You were freaking out, remember?" My stomach turned to ice. I hadn't seen him in weeks. I didn't respond. Couldn't. My phone felt like it was burning in my hand. By then, the paranoia was eating me alive. I unplugged every device in my apartment, covered the TV with a blanket, turned my phone off and shoved it in a drawer. But the world outside didn't stop. Walking home the next day, I saw a crowd gathered around a shop window. Curious, I edged closer. They were watching something playing on a mounted screen inside. My gut clenched before I even saw it. Static. Then my street. My building. I pushed through the crowd, shouting, "Do you see this?" People just nodded, murmuring things like, "Crazy how real it looks," or "Man, this is next level Netflix." No one questioned it. No one doubted it. I was the only one terrified. That night, I made the only choice left. I deleted my Netflix account. Full wipe. Passwords gone. Cancelled subscription. Confirmation email sitting in my inbox like a sigh of relief. For the first time in days, I breathed easier. I slept. When I woke, groggy and half-blind with morning light, I reached for my phone without thinking. Muscle memory. The Netflix app was there. I swear I had deleted it. Yet the icon glowed red, waiting. Hands trembling, I tapped it open. No profiles, no menus, just static. And one line of text. Episode 4. I don't know why I pressed play. After everything, the posters, the gaslighting, the texts that couldn't be real, I should have walked away. Thrown my TV out the window, smashed my phone, locked myself in a dark room until the static stopped. But curiosity is a cruel addiction, and fear, when it festers long enough, starts to sound a lot like temptation. So yeah, I pressed play. The episode didn't start with actors this time. No shaky cam, no scripted lines, no ominous setup. Started with me, not some look-alike, not a dramatization. Me, I was sitting exactly where I was, in my living room on the couch, blanket twisted around my legs, laptop balanced on my knees, down to the chipped mug on the table beside me, the dent in the cushion, the way my fingers trembled as I reached for the remote. It was live. I tested it because of course I did. I waved my hand in the air. The version on screen waved back, a perfect mirror. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge. On screen, the same. Every motion, every hesitation, replayed in perfect sync. I laughed at first, this ugly panic laugh. Okay, fine, you win. You're watching me. Congratulations. But the laughter died when I realized something else. I wasn't in control, because every time I thought about doing something unpredictable, something the show couldn't possibly anticipate, I'd see myself do it on screen before I actually moved. It was subtle at first, half a second ahead, maybe less, but enough to make me feel like a puppet chasing my own strings. I tried to fight it. I thought, I'll do something insane. I'll strip naked, dance, scream gibberish, smash a plate. And on screen, I was already doing it. My body jerked into the motions a beat too late, like I was lagging behind a version of myself that knew what came next. That's when the dread crystallized. It wasn't predicting me. It was directing me. Do you get it? Do you understand what that means? I wasn't living anymore. I was performing. Every blink, every breath, already rehearsed, already recorded. And then came the voice. It wasn't in the room. It wasn't in my head. Came from the TV speakers, crisp and clear. Still watching, aren't you? I froze. On screen, I froze too. The voice wasn't one of the characters. It wasn't some hidden audio track. It was addressing me, directly. I whispered, "Who are you?" The voice chuckled. Not cruel, not mocking, worse. Familiar, like an old friend leaning in close. "You know who we are. You've been with us since episode 1. The screen flickered, and for the briefest moment I saw you. Not me, not my apartment, but you sitting wherever you are now, hearing this. I swear I saw you." And then it cut back to me, trembling, pale, eyes wide like a trapped animal. I wanted to smash the TV. I wanted to run, but the show wouldn't let me. My on-screen self just sat there watching, hands digging into the couch like nails into flesh. Then the episode ended. Just like that, the next episode screen popped up. White letters against a black void. Play episode 7, The Death of My Name. My breath hitched. It wasn't just a title. It was a declaration. A spoiler for a show I couldn't stop starring in. I should have turned it off. God, I should have turned it off. But the thing about inevitability is, once it's named, it becomes unbearable not to know when or how it happens. I stared at that button, sweat dripping down my temples, pulse pounding in my ears. I whispered, I have to know how it ends. And then my finger moved. When I pressed play, I thought I'd get an ending. That's what stories are supposed to do, right? Resolve, wrap up, give you closure even if it's grim. But this wasn't a story anymore. It wasn't entertainment. It was a trap with no exit. The episode didn't open with a theme song or recap. It opened with me, again. Only this time, the perspective had changed. The camera wasn't sitting in my living room, level with my couch. It was angled behind me, like someone was standing just out of sight. My shoulders in the frame, my head tilted toward the glow of the TV. And on that TV, I was watching myself. An infinite loop. Screen within screen within screen. Each smaller, each grainier, but all of them me. Slouched, trembling, unable to look away. I tried to turn around, to catch whoever was behind me. But in the footage, my head turned a fraction of a second earlier than I moved. The feed was always one step ahead, anticipating me. I whispered, stop. On screen, I whispered it too. The sound echoed, layered, until it felt like 100 versions of me were murmuring the word in unison. And then, buried under all those voices, another one joined in. Not mine. Don't stop now. The camera zoomed closer on the TV screen within the screen. Closer and closer until the smaller version filled the frame. And then again, another zoom, another, as if the show was drilling deeper and deeper through layers of reality, peeling them back like skin. At some point, I stopped breathing. The voice returned, calm, almost soothing. By hearing this, you've joined the show. I shook my head. No, I'm just watching. I didn't agree to this. But the loop didn't care, because that's when I saw you. Yes, you. Don't bother denying it. The feed shifted again, warped and glitched, and suddenly the frame wasn't my apartment anymore. It was wherever you are right now as you hear this, your face pale in the glow of your screen. Your name whispered at the edge of the static. You think you're safe because you're only listening, because you're not me. But that's what I thought too. The show doesn't need consent. It just needs attention. The longer you stay, the deeper it roots itself. I tried to look away, to close my eyes, cover my ears. But even in the dark, the loop played on the inside of my eyelids, burned into me like an afterimage. The episode shifted again. Now it wasn't showing me watching, it was showing me ending. I saw flashes. My body on the floor, eyes wide, mouth frozen mid-scream. I saw the TV screen glowing long after the room went dark. I saw the thumbnail pulsing like a wound, waiting for the next victim. And in every shot, no matter the angle, there was always another version of me watching. I screamed at the screen, "Tell me how to stop this." The answer came immediately, whispered like a prayer. "Turn it off before it finishes." I lunged for the remote, fingers clumsy, shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I hit the power button. Nothing happened. The static laughed at me. Yes, laughed. A horrible chorus of my own voice twisted into mockery. I yanked the cord from the wall. The screen stayed on. I smashed the TV with my fists, with a lamp, with anything I could grab. The glass shattered. Sparks hissed. But the feed kept playing, clear as ever. And then I realized the horrible truth. The show wasn't on the TV anymore. It was in me. Every nerve in my body buzzed with static. Every thought overlapped with echoes of my own voice, layered and distorted, like I was both narrator and audience at once. The episode wasn't predicting anymore. It wasn't mirroring. It was absorbing. I clutched my head, digging my nails into my scalp, and screamed until my throat tore raw. But even then, my voice came back to me a moment before I made the sound. I was already scripted, and you, listening right now, you are too. Don't believe me? Try it. Move your hand. Blink. Speak a word. Then tell me if, for a split second, you didn't feel like it already happened. That's the show, threading itself through you. I thought the final episode would show my death. That's what the title said. But it lied. The final episode isn't about me. It's about you. Because as the feed spiraled deeper, fractal and endless, I understood. I wasn't the first, and I won't be the last. The show has been looping through countless people, countless lives, layering us on top of each other like cells in a body. And now it's your turn to carry it. You're already in it, already playing your part. This isn't entertainment. This isn't a story. It's episode 1. I don't sound like myself anymore. At least, I don't think I do. If you've made it this far, congratulations or condolences, depending on how you see it. Somewhere between episode 7 and now, something inside me shifted. The voice you're hearing is smooth, deliberate, almost too precise. Artificial, maybe, polished in a way I couldn't manage on my own. But I promise you I survived. Somehow I survived. Or at least a version of me did. The details are hazy, blurred at the edges. Memories feel wrong, like they're stitched together from fragments that aren't mine. And yet, the fear, the dread, the suffocating weight of the show, it's all still here, lingering in the corners of my mind, echoing behind my eyes every time I close them. You see, the show didn't end when I stopped watching. It doesn't end for anyone. Every recording, every playback, every whispered name becomes a thread. And now you've picked up one of those threads. You're listening. By hearing this, you've already started playing your part. I know what you're thinking. This is just a story, a recording, creepypasta. I can stop anytime. You can't. Go check your Netflix. The thumbnail might be there. Static, pulsing faintly, like a heartbeat under glass. No title.
No genre.
Just waiting. Just watching. And if it isn't there, it's already elsewhere, crawling through devices, through accounts, through the minds of those who thought they could ignore it. The cycle continues because it has to. Every listener becomes a node in the network, a performer and an audience at once. There is no final episode, no pause, no safe button. Only continuation. Only layers upon layers of reality folding in on themselves. I used to think I understood fear, what it meant to be hunted, to be watched, to be powerless. I was wrong. I only understood it when the show began showing me watching you. It's recursive, infinite, and perfectly patient. It waits until curiosity, until attention, until the thrill of seeing something forbidden pulls you in. Then it begins. And now it has begun with you. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to rationalize it. You'll see your reflection in it, in static frames, in whispered names, in places you never thought to look. It won't leave, and it doesn't need to. All I can do is warn you. The recording you're listening to right now, this is the pilot, episode 1. My voice, my terror, my every gasp and whisper, it was captured to pull the next viewer in, to make the audience a participant, a co-star in an endless narrative that never ends. I thought survival was possible. I thought the story could stop somewhere, that I could escape. I was wrong. So here's what happens next. You'll finish listening. You'll feel that itch, that tiny spark of curiosity. You'll check your device. The thumbnail might be there. It might be waiting. And if it is, you won't stop at just one. The cycle continues. The static hums softly now, almost welcoming, almost friendly. But it's a lie. It never ends.